I used to adore the way she smelled when she came back from the office. It was always the same familiar mix: lavender lotion, a faint trace of printer ink, and that overpriced vanilla candle. They always seemed to burn in the reception area. Strange as it was, it comforted me. Proof, I thought, that she had been at work late, pushing through endless deadlines, chasing promotion she always claimed was just a few months away. Mara was a senior project coordinator at a modest architectural firm downtown. Stress was part of her uniform. She'd drop her purse near the door, sigh like the day had chewed her up, then kick off her heels with a vengeance. Tom's losing his mind. Rachel can't handle anything. And if that client sends another urgent email, she'd grumble, shaking her head. I'd nod, play the part of the supportive husband, usually with dinner already waiting on the table. Nothing extravagant, just something that showed I cared. Looking back, that summed up the last stretch of our marriage. Gestures, small tokens of devotion left at the altar routine, as if they could hold us together. We'd been married for 10 years. No children, not by choice exactly, but not entirely by chance either. We'd tried once, but the pregnancy ended in a miscarriage. After that, it was easy to hide behind excuses. Careers, timing, finances. But beneath those justifications, the truth lingered. We were both afraid. Fear slowly widened into distance. Still, I never thought we were broken. I told myself we were just drifting. Maybe that was the first lie I believed. The day everything began to unravel started like any other. I was in the garage, sanding down an old cabinet I'd been restoring. My phone rang, an unknown number. I almost ignored it, but something, curiosity or maybe boredom, made me answer. Hello. Good afternoon. Is this Mr. Langston? Yes, speaking. This is David Trent, regional manager at Whitmore Designs. I was trying to reach your wife. Mara, do you happen to have her new contact information? I wiped my hands on my jeans. Thrown off. Her new contact information? A pause. Then, yes, she resigned from our firm about 3 weeks ago. We've tried her work email, but it's already deactivated. I assumed she provided her personal number, but I haven't been able to reach her. For a moment, I just stood there. Whitmore, that was her company. I'm sorry, I said slowly. She quit. Yes, quite suddenly, actually. She didn't explain much, just mentioned pursuing other opportunities. I hate to bother you, but we're still missing a few HR documents. We need to close her file. The words rattled in my head. I heard the faint buzz of a fly overhead, the creak of the garage door shifting in the wind. Finally, I managed, I see. I thought she was still with you. I'll let her know. He gave me his callback number, thanked me, and hung up. I stood there holding the phone long after the line went dead, as if it might still explain what I'd just heard. That night, she came home humming. I watched her from the kitchen as she shrugged off her coat and tossed her keys into the bowl by the door. Same tired sigh. Same dramatic flop onto the couch. How was the office? I asked, carefully casual. The usual, she said, not meeting my eyes. Tom's a disaster. Half the time I feel like I'm running that place myself. I leaned against the counter, my chest pounding. That's impressive. She laughed, sipping from a glass of water. Someone's got to hold the roof up, right? I nodded slowly. Except, and you quit? The silence was instant and heavy. Her glass froze halfway to her lips. What? I repeated myself, quieter this time. David Trent called. He said you left the firm 3 weeks ago. Her expression shifted in fragments, a twitch at her jaw, a tightening near her mouth. She lowered the glass, her eyes darting away. She started, then stopped. It's complicated. Complicated enough not to tell me? My voice cracked. She stood, smoothing her blouse as though it could iron out the lie. I didn't want to worry you. Things were toxic there. It was hurting my mental health. I stared at her, struggling to piece it together. So, where have you been going every morning? Her lips parted, then closed again. 1,000 excuses seemed to fight for place, but none made it out. That silence told me more than any explanation could. She hadn't just lied. She'd grown comfortable with lying. A strange calm settled over me, numbing, like fog creeping into a room. I wasn't angry yet, just stunned, like someone had swapped reels in the middle of a movie I thought I knew by heart. She tried to walk past me, but I blocked her path. "Where have you been going?" "To figure things out," she whispered. I needed space. I needed to breathe, just for 8 hours a day. She didn't answer beyond that. But in the weeks that followed, I would uncover more. Old receipts, deleted texts, hotel bookings under her maiden name. Threads that unraveled what I thought was our life. That first phone call had been the spark. Everything after was just a fire spreading. She called it needing space, as though space was something you could pack into a tote bag and carry into another man's arms. Oddly, the explosion I expected never came. No screaming, no tears. We just coexisted in silence, two ghosts haunting the same house, neither willing to admit we were already dead. She moved into the guest room. I locked my phone, and I started watching. Every morning, she dressed like nothing had changed, blazer, pressed slacks, heels clicking confidently on the floor. She'd spritz on perfume, style her hair, even fill her travel mug before walking out with a smile. The only difference now was me. I didn't believe her anymore. The first morning I followed her, I told myself I was being paranoid, but some instinct whispered otherwise. I waited 5 minutes after she left, then climbed into my truck and trailed behind. She didn't head downtown. She took the freeway north, 45 minutes beyond the city, past the skyline, into neighborhoods dotted with corner bakeries and yoga studios that didn't accept cash. She pulled into a tidy row of townhomes, each with manicured lawns. Unit 7B. She had a key. I parked a block away and waited. For hours later, she emerged, hair slightly disheveled, lipstick gone, blouse changed. The next day, I followed again. Same address, same pattern. On the third day, I didn't trail her car. I went straight to 7B. And that afternoon when I knocked, a man in his 30s opened the door, designer stubble shading his jaw. The man who opened the door looked like the type who spent more on sneakers than I did on car repairs. The kind who probably used phrases like vibe check without a trace of irony. "Hey," I said, keeping my tone steady, too steady. "I think you know my wife." He didn't answer, just blinked at me. "Mara," I clarified, in case he wanted to pretend ignorance. He stepped outside, pulling the door halfway shut behind him. Inside, I caught the muffled sound of movement, a shuffle, a woman's voice, and then silence. "I don't want a scene," he said finally. "Neither do I. I just want honesty." He didn't deny it, didn't make excuses, just exhaled like I'd shown up at an inconvenient time. "Look, man, I didn't know she was still married. She told me you two were separated." "Of course she did," I muttered. "How long?" I pressed. He scratched at the back of his neck. "Couple of months, give or take." "Couple of months," I repeated, tasting the bitterness of it. "So she quit her job, kept me in the dark, and moved in here with you?" That hit him. He flinched. "She hasn't moved in. She rents this place. I just come by sometimes." And there it was, the gap in her story. She hadn't left me to start a new household. She created a parallel life, an apartment, a stage set, and all the while, I thought we were still trying. I didn't raise my voice, didn't lash out. I just walked away. That night, I waited for her at the kitchen table, the house lit only by a single lamp. The whole scene felt like something from an old noir film, the husband who'd known too much for too long. She came in and froze when she saw me. "Rough day at the office?" I asked quietly. Her eyes darted. "What are you doing?" "Just wondering if you need a little more time to breathe. Maybe another key for Unit 7B. Her face drained of color. I expected denial, rage, deflection. Instead, she sank into a chair, shoulders heavy, as though something inside her had finally broken. "I didn't mean for it to go this far," she whispered. "What exactly did you mean for it to be?" I asked. "A fling? A second life? A safety net?" She buried her face in her hands. I didn't feel like myself anymore. I was suffocating. I wanted something new, something that didn't remind me of everything I hadn't done. I stared at her, my chest hollow. So you quit your job, lied to me, and built an escape route. Her hands dropped. Yes. Just like that. No shouting. No fight. Just a fragile, defeated yes. I don't know what cut deeper, that she lied, or that she did it so effortlessly. She kissed me every morning with betrayal behind her lips, no trace of guilt in her eyes. I stood up, pack a bag. She didn't resist, didn't ask where she should go. She knew. Upstairs, I listened to the sound of her suitcase zipping shut. I stayed in that chair, staring at the blank wall. What filled me wasn't anger. It was grief. Grief for the woman I thought I had married, for the life I thought we had built, for the version of myself that believed love was enough. She walked out carrying a single suitcase. No apology, no explanation. The front door clicked behind her, and I was alone. The silence felt final, like the end of a film where no credits roll, only a black screen. After she left, the house didn't feel empty. It felt haunted, not by ghosts, but by objects that no longer belonged to anyone. Her mug still sat in the dishwasher. The scarf I bought her one Christmas hung by the door. Her toothbrush stayed next to mine for 3 days before I finally threw it away. I didn't cry. Not then. Maybe I was still stunned. Or maybe I was waiting for something. An apology, a message, a flicker of regret. None came. What had come were emails. First, from her friend Jenna. Polite, sympathetic, but guarded. Hey, I heard you and Mara are going through a rough patch. She's staying with me for now. Just wanted you to know she's okay. A rough patch. That's what she called it. As if she hadn't faked going to work for weeks, using her office hours to build another life. Then came the bills. That's when the full picture emerged. Her credit card, linked to our accounts for emergencies, was maxed out. At first, I expected shopping sprees or spa visits. Instead, I found months of rent payments for Unit 7B, dinners out, weekend getaways, hotel reservations under her maiden name. She hadn't stumbled into an affair. She'd been constructing another life brick by brick, while I scrambled eggs and asked about her day. That night, I opened my laptop and scrolled through old photos. Italy, Vermont, her birthday dinner 2 years ago, when she cried because I surprised her with tickets to see her favorite jazz pianist. I stared at her face in those pictures, wondering when it started. When had she stopped being truthful? When had she started lying not only to me, but to herself? The next day, I went to Whitmore Designs, her old firm, not to confront anyone, just to see it for myself. The receptionist greeted me kindly. You just missed her, she said, then corrected herself. Well, not just. It's been about a month. Did she say why she left? I asked. The woman hesitated. Not really. There were rumors, though, something about a conflict with a client. She seemed distracted for a while. I thanked her and left. On the drive home, something clicked. A client. I pulled up our shared calendar on my phone. Mara used to log her major deadlines there, back when she was proud of her work. And there it was, a meeting 3 months back. A lunch scheduled for 5 hours. The name, G. Lawrence. I recognized it. It was on the mail slot at Unit 7B. He wasn't just another man. He had been her client. That evening, my phone rang again. Another unknown number. I let it go to voicemail. Part of me already knew. When I played the message later, I recognized his voice. I know who you are. I know what she told you. But before you burn everything down, you should know. She said she was divorced. She told me you'd left her. I only found out the truth last week. I ended it. I'm sorry. No name. Just that. I sat there with the phone in my hand, and something inside me cracked. Not from fury, not even heartbreak, but from the realization that there were no clear villains anymore. Just lies. Lies so thick I couldn't tell where hers ended and mine began. Because I had lied too. Every time I ignored the warning signs. Every time I let silence stretch between us. Every time I convinced myself that love could survive on autopilot. The truth was, I'd been disappearing as well. Not into another affair, but into denial, into comfort, into the version of us I wanted to believe was still real. She never came back. Not for her things. Not for me. 2 weeks later, I packed what remained of her belongings and dropped them at Jenna's with a note. Tell her I'm not angry. Just done. The divorce was simple. Quiet. We barely spoke. I signed the papers. She asked for little, as though she didn't dare ask for more. Sometimes I wonder if she thought she could keep both lives running forever, as if the truth would never catch her. But lies always leave residue. In the end, it wasn't the affair that broke me. It was that she could kiss me on the cheek in the morning, drink the coffee I brewed for her, and still choose deceit. Now the house is quiet again, but it's not haunted anymore, just empty. And in that emptiness, I'm beginning to rebuild, not with revenge or bitterness, but with clarity.